Ladies and gentlemen, I like to think of myself as a podcast man. As a podcast man, I hope that you'll forgive just good old-fashioned plain speaking. Now, this work that we do is very much a family enterprise. I work side by side with my wonderful son, KW. Hey guys, I'm Andrew. I'm gonna be your good critic today.
And I'm Kyle. Bad. I'm the
my
bad
son,
critic.
KW, Kyle Wynn.
I hate how I'm your son in this.
Well,
hey, understand.
If you don't recognize the speech up top, we will be doing "There Will Be Blood" this episode. Before we get into the episode, though, please do us two favors.
What's first?
Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. There Will Be Blood is the movie. Good Critic, Bad Critic podcast. You can't miss us.
You can't miss it. We're right there.
Number two, actually three things. My apologies.
Number two, though.
Number two, leave a review.
Poop.
If you have to poop, go poop. If not, or leave a review while you're pooping. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening, we take them.
We'll accept them gladly. 5 stars.
5 stars. And then thirdly, follow us on Instagram. Content galore.
Go on there, brothers,
Good
sisters.
Critic, Bad Critic. You
can't miss it.
Literally, you can't miss it.
If this is your first time, thanks for tuning in.
Yes. The gist of it here is one of us reviews the movie positively, the other one negatively, no matter how we're feeling.
And we go through some awards along the way.
Award season is over, but not for us.
It's always on. Always on. And then finally, true feelings.
Some real true thoughts at the end. And then we'll also announce next episode's movie. Just a little surprise there for you.
A little sneak peek.
Kyle, he's going to learn too. I like just throwing him a curveball. A little soft curveball.
That's just the pitcher in you.
Yeah. I don't have the arm like I used to. All right, as good critic, though, I will start.
There Will Be Blood, 2007.
Ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not very good at it. Or am I?
I think it was decent.
Okay, decent. Yeah. I'll take it. All right. 2007's There Will Be Blood. What can I say about There Will Be Blood?
Tell me the synopsis.
Oh, I totally forgot that's my responsibility. Give me 1 second.
It's funny because Andrew actually wrote this down himself.
Yep, this one I wrote myself.
He's not. He's typing it as we speak.
I just have to write I have to do a couple
tweak.
Changes. All right. A story of family, religion, hatred, oil, and madness, focusing on a turn-of-the-century prospector in the early days of the business.
Okay.
I wrote that just now.
He wrote that in his head.
Thanks for listening.
In his sleep.
All right. So what can I say about There Will Be Blood? This was my first watch. I'm going to say it right now. And there was a lot of discussion leading this on as one of the greatest films ever made. And I have to say I agree. All right? I'm going to just say right there. This is perfect execution of one of the slowest burns ever. But you know what else burns slowly? Oil. Yeah, precisely. Wow. Checkmate, atheists.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to look at a cinematic masterpiece? You've come to the right place. You're looking to get lost in another world? Welcome to the early 1900s California, baby. Driven by one of the most electric performances ever by arguably one of our greatest living actors.
Daniel
Day-Lewis. You want to feel something? Well, There Will Be Blood has some thrilling moments detailed by an overwhelming yet eccentric score. Eccentric.
Wow.
You see Daniel slip into... Daniel. It's confusing, but you'll get there, you guys. It's Daniel Day-Lewis who plays Daniel.
Plainsby, yeah.
You see Daniel slip into madness more and more, and you feel it. It's so slow, yet so powerful. Sucks you right in. There's even some laughs sprinkled in by some of the out-of-pocket dialogue and the crazy deliveries that some of the actors do. Like, it has a little bit of everything. This truly is one of the greatest films ever made by one of our greatest directors ever, Paul Thomas Anderson. And you just have to check it out.
Okay. What a great review.
Thank you very much.
And as a bad critic, I must say, couldn't agree any less.
Wow.
With your opinion.
Haters gonna hate.
The first and biggest reason I didn't like this film is because we had to sit there and watch a father emotionally abuse his son. So,
like we haven't all done that or been part of that.
He uses his son, his good charm, I have a son, to gain personal wealth, gain land. He's using him. And when he has no longer needs him, casts him aside, sends him away. what a terrible father figure, if you ask me. And we know from the top of the episode, what accent is Daniel Day-Lewis going for? What is it?
Beautiful accent. That's what I have to say.
I will say it makes every line of dialogue muddy. I hated it. Also, what's this film called? There Will Be Blood?
Yeah.
More like There Will Be Oil. There was no blood. There was no blood in this. Come on, guys. Really misleading from the start. I will say, we get great character development out of Daniel Plainsview, but none of the other characters get to shine because he's commanding all the attention. So it's just centric to him, and all the other characters fall flat around him. Paul Dano, too young to believe he's a preacher. I'm not buying it. He's going to be 14 years old and lead a congregation?
Easily.
Doubt it. Overall, this film is about capitalism set in a time period that it just doesn't hit with me.
Let me speak to you about the 14-year-old reverend, all right? If God has your back, anything is possible.
Brother, I'm not listening to that, man.
I'm pushing back. All
Even in 1911, not listening
Great
to him.
gun. 1911.
Oh, yeah, you're familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so,
What a terrible review.
wow.
I don't understand how you can even write these words and speak them aloud in my presence.
Well, I just did, brother.
Well, let's hand out some awards to really hammer down how you're wrong. Essentially. All right, we're going to start with best performance.
Okay.
So the obvious choice would be DDL, Daniel Day-Lewis. So I'm not going to give it to him, even though he was the best.
Yeah,
all right. I'm going to give it to Paul Dano, who, fun fact, wasn't even supposed to play Eli. He was supposed to just be Paul. But then
I know, it threw me off because he played both of
Yeah,
them.
because at first I knew that they were twins, essentially, but also I was like, is he the same guy? But the fact that he played Paul, which was easy, but Eli, I thought was... what? I wonder if you guys heard that. Sorry. Paul Dano plays Paul and Eli, and he doesn't go toe-to-toe, but essentially he goes 8 rounds with Daniel Day-Lewis. I thought he held his own, so I'm just going to award him with this meaningless award.
Fair enough. The worst performance, on the other hand, is Dylan Frazier as young H.W. I'm not believing for a minute this kid is deaf.
He honestly did piss me off.
Like, legit, I'm watching it. Obviously, he's portraying a deaf kid after the incident. Mm-hmm. And he's just sitting there snapping in his ears, doesn't say a word, doesn't talk, has a blank look on his face. And guess what? It was terrible. Pissed me off.
I get it. I understand.
I know I said this father was abusive. I would have shipped his ass off too.
I understand.
Who wants to deal with that?
Yeah, who wants to? Not Kyle. All right, we're going to go to best quote. I'm going to go with, this is from Daniel to Eli. This is when Eli approaches Daniel for the payment that he was promised and hasn't gotten. And he starts smacking the shit out of him for a gift for the church.
Yeah.
So he starts smacking the shit out of Eli. And he says, "Aren't you a healer?" So should I do it in the voice? No.
Yeah,
right,
no more.
"Aren't you a healer and a vessel for the Holy Spirit? When are you going to come heal my son?" I like this because it's one of the themes is religion and like how they are just as greedy as Sir Plainview, but the delivery and the emotion, it makes you kind of feel like, does he really care about HW? Or is he still just using him as a tool? You don't really know, and it's just like he sells the film and the themes really well. And just by that 3 lines, I don't know how you just 3 sentences, 3 lines?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
Sure, Andrew. The worst quote. I'm basing this off of... This is a young adult HW. He's grown up, right? Mm-hmm. He's coming to his dad telling him, yo, I want out. I'm going to go live my own life. I'm out of the business. This is the worst quote because the actor portraying HW says it in a way where, like, he's deaf, right? But he's heard before. He knows what words sound like. So, in my opinion, when you already have had hearing, you can talk normal, even if you're deaf. Because you know how to pronounce the words.
I get what you're saying, and I probably would agree, but this was like he was a
He was like 10.
8-year-old boy, and then it was like 16 years later. He probably forgot. If I had to guess, I don't know.
I'm not deaf, so I don't know. But he said, "I'm going to Mexico with my wife. I'm getting away from you." But the way the actor delivers the line, I'm not even gonna do it.
I understand.
Took me out of the scene because I'm like, I get what they're going for, but also he knows how to pronounce words.
He knew. Does he still know? I don't know. Probably not.
It's hearsay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Hearsay. Hearsay?
I don't know.
That's fucked up, man. All right, let's go to best scene. Good scene. Good, bad, you know?
Yeah, we get it, Andrew.
Okay.
We're with you. We're right there with you.
So this was my favorite. I think this is when the tone ultimately shifts. So Daniel is just about to launch the first well in the new town, and Eli comes to him and he says, "Hey, let me bless it. 4 p.m. that work, you know?" So he gets there, and Daniel takes Eli's sister Mary, and they bless it together right in front of him, and then you just see Eli standing there with like jealousy and envy and anger,
hatred.
Yeah, and then the camera just this is a common theme for me, but the camera just slowly zooms in on him as like he's ready to explode, and I love though it sets the tone, it sets the mood so well for what's to come.
It's true. I couldn't agree more, honestly. The worst scene though, I have to give it to the opening scene because you're with young Daniel, right? Mm-hmm. Mining for gold,
Silver, I believe, but
silver, gold. You know, who knows?
I'm gonna be that guy.
And
We're
you
in
just
the silver stage, so we gotta have their backs.
yeah, exactly. And we just get like an intro to the character, but it really serves no purpose, in my opinion. You just see him find some gold, doesn't interact with anyone, and he breaks his leg.
I think it just shows his determination for wealth and that he
just worked a hard-working man,
blue-collared son of a bitch.
I just think it didn't. It was a cold open. Didn't love it.
Was the no dialogue a plus or a minus?
A minus.
A minus. I thought it was like
setting the
at
tone.
first. I was like, I don't know, but then you're just like, oh, this guy is.
This is a very
fucked up. Yeah.
This is a slow burn movie. I get why they did it. Didn't love the choice.
Understood.
Think it could have been cut.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna go with best costume. Simple. I genuinely think Daniel is one of the most handsome men
of all time.
Especially like in this role. So his mustache just gets the award for best costume.
Yeah, it's true.
He looks.
He wore that thing.
My God.
Full.
I would do anything
bushy.
for that mustache. Mustache.
Fair enough. The worst costume. I'm gonna give it.
Wait.
I'm giving it to the dress that Daniel bought for young Mary Sunday, just because he was a creep about it. He plucks her. She's running around. He plucks her out, and he's
rough.
like, "How do you like this dress? It looks good. Is your father beating you still?"
Just side eye. You know?
Yeah, kind of uncomfortable. So have to give it to the dress just for the situation that it created.
In 1911, man, anything could be happening.
Anything could be happening.
All right, let's go to best location / set piece. We're going to go with a location on this one. It's when Daniel and his brother, Henry, are at the ocean. They use the ocean and the beach really well. It kind of changes the color and the look of the film, too. It was like a breath of fresh air when they're there. And I thought it was a great scene, too.
Wow. Worst location for me was the beach.
Oh, wow.
Just because I understand... It was like, this is where I want to go to. This is where I'm going. This is like the end goal for Daniel. You also get the revelation from Daniel there. We're like, hey, I don't know if this dude's for real, my brother. But we did it again in the next scene at the bar. So I feel like this scene could have been out.
Okay.
This location, I mean.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Fair enough. All right, we're going to go to best song, and I'm just going to give it to not applicable.
Yeah, I didn't have one either.
Yeah.
This score...
The score is unsettling, mostly.
Yes.
But...
I'll talk about it later.
My goodness.
I will talk about it later.
Perfect. I will too, actually. I had one thought about
Yeah.
it besides the unsettlingness.
Stunt. Do you have a stunt?
I have a cameo, actually.
Oh, I don't have a cameo.
So best cameo goes to the dog in the mansion near the end. He looked like a good boy and or girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's creative, Andrew. I like that.
Thank you. All right, stunt. I do actually have one of those either. So I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's probably going to give it to the oil well blowing up. No.
What?
No.
Dude, that was
It
so
was
sick.
insane, don't get me wrong. But I really liked when they lose the guy on the well because they don't tie the drill down.
Yeah.
And it falls and it just boom, knocks
That's
him, kills him.
Knocks him dead.
I just thought, like, I was just thinking, like, how they filmed that, first of all. And second of all, it looked real. Like, I was like, holy fuck.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it to him. It was just bananas.
All right. Worst stunt goes to Eli getting killed with the bowling pin by a crippled, drunk man. Get away from this man. Come on.
Eli's crippled by debt. So,
But here's the thing. At that point, they're already escalating. You know shit's about to go down.
yeah, it should be fight or flight.
Yeah. And he ran away.
Kind of flew, but he was just like, maybe I can still get money out of this.
But get away from this old crippled man.
I loved that scene so much. That whole...
First of all, he's crippled. Second of all, he's drunk as
out of
hell.
his
He
mind.
just downs.
eating steak
Yeah.
and then drinking whiskey.
Tequila?
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
It was clear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Fuck it.
gin.
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, it has to go to the worst stunt just because I'm like, dude, get away from the man. You're gonna get killed by a bowling pin.
Yeah.
Come on.
I almost did.
Well, that was a different.
We're not gonna get
different
into that.
situation. But yeah, that's why this movie was terrible.
All right,
All of the above.
Tell me what you really thought.
Okay, I actually loved this
It's
movie.
so fucking good.
So like at
I can't
first
believe it took us to start a shitty little podcast
to watch this movie. Yeah, I've never watched this movie before, and I was like
I never
for real.
really thought about it because there was that whole like. I was late to the party, but No Country for Old Men versus this
That was great,
was
yeah.
like the 2007 like battle, and I
think
watched
I
No
like-
Country first, and I was like, I don't need to watch There Will Be Blood. Like this
There Will
was
Be Blood is
obviously
better,
the
I
winner
think.
for a reason.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think it was slightly better.
Just the slow burn aspect actually was killer.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the oils. Like I know nothing about drilling for oil.
And it kind of makes you think like, oh, that's how it was done.
Exactly.
Right there, yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm into it. But like I said, I like the story of like a young entrepreneur hustling. I love
By
it.
any means necessary.
The performances were great.
So
like
good.
Daniel Day-Lewis killed it, but so did Paul Dano.
Yeah, I cannot believe he was 22 in this, and he had like I think it was like 4 days to learn the other role.
Killed it.
Mind blowing.
And like now that I know he was the Riddler, like as he progressed through his career, I'm like, I see it. Like I'm like, yep, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I loved everything. The cinematography,
It
amazing.
was so beautiful.
When they blew up the rig and they're just shooting the fire straight up. How did they film that?
I don't know.
Did they
dude.
really do that?
Right? And then there's that one scene where it's been burning for a while, and the guy, he's like, why are you so upset? There's an ocean of oil under
Yeah.
here, and it's like dark, and they're all muddy or oily.
Yeah.
And it's like going to dawn. And there's just the shot of them on the film. I was like, how do you time this so well? to
So
make it look
fucking good.
So good.
Yeah, I loved it. Slow burn, but pays off.
Yeah. And then the score, at first I hated it. But then I realized, like,
It makes you
it
feel
made
tense.
everything. Yeah.
Honestly, loved it.
Yeah,
I'm
so
glad we
good.
watched
Me
it.
too. I'm going to be probably watching this another time.
I will say, not my favorite movie, but it's up
It's
there.
up there.
8.8 out of 10.
9.4 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah. There's just so little to not like.
It was amazing.
All right. So, if you guys...
Dude, what is happening?
We're in the jungle. If you made it this far, please go leave one of them reviews we were asking about. Follow us on all the socials. And then next episode's movie. Drumroll, please. We'll be watching Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction.
Wow.
Kyle will be your good critic. I will be your bad critic.
Tune in next time, guys.
Yeah, and we'll
Thank
see
you.
you then. Goodbye.